Hey guys, and welcome back to Super Serious Fitness Q&A with me, Kristen. And today we have a special guest, my lovely fiancée, Beth. Today's episode is therefore called Gay and Girlie. What do you think, Beth, is the hardest part about being female and or LGBT in the fitness industry? And the second hardest part?
Oh man.
And the third hardest part?
Third hardest part. Well, I think it's hard being female in any kind of industry, right? I think our society has a tendency to think of men as, stronger, more capable. If a guy's coming in and he's thinking, I want to get like big and bulky and like beefy and hot, they're not gonna like come up to someone who's like small and blonde and be like, she's my trainer automatically, right? They're gonna go for someone who's like, a big dude bro who's like, yeah, like eat your steak and like eat your rice and like have your broccoli and then like this is like how it goes. Actually, when I first started training out in California, when I was correcting a guy's squat form and he was like, oh, well, that's cool, but I'm not really into Pilates. And then, yeah, I know. And then I took the barbell away from him and added on 45 pounds on each side to what he was squatting and then squatted it. And I said, how's that for Pilates? Let me know if you'd like to learn how to squat better.
She's taken. I'm just going to remind everyone that she's taken.
I also hate that on the reverse, they'll say like, there's that assumption that, like you are the Pilates instructor, you're the yoga instructor, you're doing gentle body weight exercise, and that's not what I fucking do, I do really, really hardcore stuff like sleds and barbells and ropes and flipping tires and the badass stuff. That's not to say that like there isn't any merit in the body weight stuff, the Pilates stuff, like that all is like really cool, but that's not what I do. And just because I'm female, that doesn't mean that I do that. When I used to work at corporate gyms, like the male trainers would get favored over the female trainers. They were the first to get past leads from membership. Yeah, and that was really frustrating. Actually being gay though helps a little bit, right? So a lot of my first clients, most of my clients are men, first of all. But my first clients were straight men. And when they found out I was gay, they were like, oh, you're like one of the bros. Like, then they felt like they could like relate to me. And, then they're like, oh, you're like one of me. Okay, let's squat. Because there's kind of that stereotype of like the butch lesbian, the sporty lesbian, and
very butch.
Clearly, I'm a very butch, sporty lesbian.
So you think that the LGBT part actually makes it easier?
Yes.
Because you're a woman.
Yes.
Do you think that they cancel each other out?
No.
Or do you? So you still think it's a little bit harder?
No, it's still like men up here, easiest time, right? Mm-hmm. And then like women down here, and then being a gay woman up here.
What about gay men?
Well, I think that depends on where you are in the country. If you're like a gay man and out in the middle of Alabama, you're probably not going to get chosen over like a straight man. Yeah. But I remember when I first took over the Phoenix Effect, I had a really hard time getting people to come to my classes, and you did too when you first started. Because when Kristen first started, she had like 4 or 5 people in her first class. That was it, right? But anytime I hire like a super hunky new male trainer, like boom, the class is just full, right? Because there's just that assumption that like if they're going to be a girl, it's probably going to suck. It's not going to be as hard. They're not going to know as much, and that's definitely something that we have to overcome every single day.
That was a really good answer. I have to admit that I did stare at your boobs for half of it. And hopefully that's okay.
My nearly A's. You're
They're
welcome.
Barely B's. God. Calm it down.
Yeah, I remember when we went to Victoria's Secret and they were like, we don't have your size.
I was hoping we wouldn't include that on the show. Any concluding remarks about being female and or LGBT in fitness? I have one. Fuck yeah. We're taking it over, bitch. Yeah.
Boom. Girl power.
Awesome. Girl power.